Hey everybody, good morning. My name is Willow and this is Santiago, and right now we're at our barn in Ocala, Florida. And today is a very exciting day because Santi is about to get his first Anicell treatment. I went ahead and grabbed him a few minutes early. My vet is just pulling in right now actually to make sure that he wasn't completely filthy. If you've seen any of my other videos, then you know that he loves to roll right before I bring him in, and sometimes I come out and he's covered in dirt. So he looks pretty good today, but I just wanted to double check, so we're gonna bring him in the barn. Perfect, alrighty, see you in a sec. Yep. Bye. Come on, bud.
Hi, I'm Dr. Trish Kallenbach. We're here in Ocala, Florida, and we're gonna do some innovative things with Santiago today. He's a relatively recent purchase with Willow, and recently he started having a little bit of a right foot stumble. With x-rays and CT myelogram, we've seen some bony changes in his lower cervical area. We're really not sure what the cause is, but because he's so healthy otherwise, we are going to do some thermography today and see if we can map out where any inflammation is. And then using that information, we're gonna do a very revolutionary product called Anicell. It's a regenerative amniotic tissue, and it works similar to what people think of as stem cell to go to the areas of inflammation and help the body naturally heal that up.
So we're super excited to see how this is going to work with Santiago. He's been really, really great so far. He's been moving really nicely, but like we said, he does have these changes in his neck, so it's something that we want to go ahead and start treating as soon as possible and get ahead of before it actually becomes a problem. He's shedding like crazy. His one patch of fluff is like now releasing. Olive.
Yeah, Olive's just like, I'll be fine.
She's like, horses are cool. Like, this is a baby. This is a gigantic baby.
All right, that'll be good. So I've got the
just
dirt
straight
wall as the background, yep. Cool. Oh, general thermography, which is gonna tell us where heat and inflammation is. If you can step to the left so that I can get a center chest.
Yeah.
And this will let us know not only where the head up. I don't need your nose, big guy, thank you.
Come here, pick that up.
Not only around the area that we know of, but we're going to be injecting along the spine as well.
Okay.
There's other areas of effect.
Mm-hmm. Good boy.
There's actually more heat down his left shoulder, but very often that's going to be compensatory.
Yeah. Well, because that's every time he trips, he has to catch himself with his left shoulder. Yeah. Every time.
Red is getting to where the problem is, and so we've got some lumbar on both sides. Now, this is his left side, so again, we've talked about potentially some compensatory stuff on that, but from the top line, we've definitely got that behind the saddle inflammation. When we look at the necks, again, right there, there's where our problem is, and farther south. So we've got it through there, so we're probably gonna do 2 points and then down by the shoulders as well. When we look at the other side, there's his right side, so very intensely right there through the problem area.
Right there.
So exactly right where the x-rays are. And again, the x-rays show us bony changes. This is going to show us heat changes, and we're treating where's the most inflammation.
Okay.
And so that's where what this is going to give us. When we go to his back, we're really not seeing much of anything. So again, nice normal buttocks, got a tiny little bit in that left rear. That's more than likely just compensatory because the right front is his primary area. So he's just working that a little bit, but nothing that I'm overly worried about that we need to treat. So here's the product that we're using today. Everything for our prep.
What's he doing, huh? What's going on, buddy? It's a little
But all the bodies could.
And the Anicell is a very fractious tissue. It gets shipped to us on dry ice. We have to keep it at colder than your normal freezer temperature. And then we warm it up, dilute it into regular sodium chloride, which is just a regular fluid we use to hydrate them if we're doing IVs. And it's just under the skin, so it's just a subcutaneous injection.
Oh, that's so
Isn't
easy.
anything more than a vaccine or anything of that nature, so it's really not uncomfortable for the animal.
Yeah,
not
we were
doing
talking about doing intra-articular things before, which just kind of freaked me out. That's a lot more invasive.
Right, and that's one of the things. Every time as a vet we're doing intra-articular, we're holding our breath of every sanitary thing that we can do to not get a joint infection.
Yeah.
And so the fact that we can use this and that it's just a sub-Q injection, and then we do want to go ahead and work him. You actually want the areas to be a little irritated because that little bit of inflammation is what actually draws the material into the areas that we need to heal. Sometimes they will be a touch sore, but it is more of just a stiffness. When you get them out and working them, they release really easily.
Right.
So in that scenario, we want to do that. You don't have to rest them. You go right back to work. If I've done cruciates, I've done suspensories and things of that nature. And as long as they're not abjectly lame, if they're just a little stiff, we put them right back to work.
Cool.
And so now this is a very concentrated solution that we dilute into the sodium chloride. And I make sure to get every drop out. We are also going to do the last bit of this intravenously. They are doing studies with this where they're doing it intravenously. It is traveling through the body and finding other cells that need help. They've had several cases where they're doing kidney failure in canines, that they're getting very good regenerative. So because we're not really sure what the origin of this is, we are going to do the injection sites we need, and then we're going to save 2 cc's and do it intravenously to pretty much go forth and find everything else we need to fix.
Anything else with horses, man, I swear, there's always a problem that you haven't found. There's always something in there, and so you gotta find them all.
So we've done the thermography. I discussed with you some of the hot areas. We've obviously got some inflammation around the cervical and down into the shoulders. We also found some hot points in his mid-thoracic and lumbar. Doesn't look like it's saddle fit, so that just could be some compensation for him. So we're going to be treating all of those areas. And then because we don't know the actual causative of this, we are going to be doing 2 cc's of it injectably intravenously. And that basically, they're just starting to do research showing that that simply goes walkabout in the body and finds any other areas. This is just a subcutaneous injection, so we're not really having to do any kind of fancy preps like we would a joint injection or whatever. But as veterinarians, we always feel more comfortable if we've done something. So we're just taking some simple alcohol and prepping the areas that we're going to inject. So we're going to be injecting above and below the primary vertebrae. We're going to be injecting at the lower, at the 6th cervical, where it's bleeding into the shoulder. And then we're going to be injecting 2 points at the top and bottom of the lumbar, thoracic and lumbar area that we're having. And then we'll do the intravenous.
Perfect.
And again, it shouldn't be anything more to him than a vaccine prick.
Amazing. That's what really drew me to this treatment so much, is because, you know, there's no risks to it. There's nothing to go wrong, really. Anything is just going to benefit him and help him. So. And no downtime too, so we can go back to riding.
This is just like a little vaccine prick, but because he's fixing to get 20 of them, we just tended to have people distract him by just doing your nails and scrubbing on his face like you would.
Do a little distraction there, bud.
And then I do the same thing here.
Perfect. Hey, buddy. You're okay. You are so good. I always think it's funny because he's such a sensitive horse, but then anytime he's getting any sort of vet work done, he's so good. Like anytime, if you just brush him a little bit too hard, then he gets very offended, but then actual injections and he's weirdly fine with it. Oh. Easy, oh buddy. Yeah, you were fine with the first one and now you're over it.
Standard horse reaction, that's why I like it. Face scrubbing is all good. And even though this is a problem on both sides, a bilateral problem, this is going to go where it does. So we do not have to do multiple injections on each side.
It'll just go where we need it to. Oh boy.
To keep it as comfortable for the animal as we can, you can do it through a 25 gauge needle, which is a very, very small needle. So we're not needing to use humongo needles with it.
That's good.
And so again, this was the area that we had heat, so we're going to do at the top and at the bottom of the problem area. We don't need to do every section.
Perfect.
I know, I'm sorry, this is your...
Stay strong, buddy.
Sore back there.
I know. Oh, easy, 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 easy. You're such a good boy. Good boy. Good boy. Oh. So many cookies coming to you after this one, bud. In a lifetime of feeling better. That should be
that's our big
That's
goal.
the reward. Yeah, I just want to get you feeling better. Oh, I know. It's okay. It's okay. Good boy. I know. Good boy. I know. These flies are driving you.
It's going to be IV.
All right, buddy. Come here. You're used to getting poked these days.
I don't know really, but I do know that I know your blade contour.
Good boy. Good boy. Yeah. Oh, you're doing so good, buddy. Whoa. Sweet right there.
From my...
Just wait.
Yeah, but...
Oh, good boy.
Oh my God.
Well, the first time he's been getting injections without being drugged. He's like probably waiting for it to kick in.
I've got one more pulled, so we're going to do a little farther back on the lumbar.
Nice.
This is acupuncture-wise called the byway spot, so it's kind of the cross of 1,000 trails.
Okay.
And so it has a lot of back issues. And even though we're going straight in, we're still just into the skin and the sub-Q tissue. It's only a 3/4 inch needle. This is the spot where we would do joint injections if our spinal taps, but again, not going deep enough with that.
Perfect.
All right, so at that point, we are done with his treatment. Again, he may be a little stiff, and that's fine. You can just work him through it. There should not be any pain associated with it.
Right.
We don't want to use anti-inflammatory, so whether that's herbal or actual medication, we want to let the inflammation do its thing. Now, if he's horribly uncomfortable, we use what we can to keep him mobile, but that's just not going to be the case with him.
Yeah. No, we use Butte as a last resort. We don't overdo it on the meds with him.
And so like I said, if you can work him out of any stiffness he has, that's much the preferred. Even because you're fixing to travel and back up north, I would just stop more frequently and let him walk around rather than just give him some Butte for comfort to get up there.
Right.
So, all right, very good. And we'll look for future videos and see where we go.
Yeah. Okay, so we just turned Santi back out. He's back to the pasture now.
So we started with the thermography so that we could, beyond the x-rays, see where any inflammatory patterns are. We saw some obviously down the neck.
Yeah.
We saw some down the thoracic and lumbar.
Yeah. I was surprised to see a little bit in his back there, but I mean, it makes sense that he's compensating in other ways for the stiffness that he's experiencing in his neck.
Right, and so we did the thermography, mapped out all the spots, did injection therapy with the Anicell at each of those spots, and then we followed up with some intravenous. And so that's the ease of the therapy, is it's a few injections and you're good to go.
Yeah, I mean, that makes it super easy. So I was a little bit nervous about how he was going to do with that many injections, but he actually did really well. He was a very good boy, didn't cause any problems or anything, and the whole process was just so easy. I can't believe how simple it was.
And that's really what it is, because it is just a skin injection. It's fairly well. Yes, when I do fetlocks and things when we're doing suspensory. There's a little bit more attention there, but again, it's just a sub-Q injection. They do very well. So you don't need to do anything special. You can put him right back under saddle. You can practice with him this afternoon. There may be a little stiffness, but that's okay. You just work through it.
Okay.
If there's no actual lameness or you can tell he's uncomfortable, that's fine. That is the inflammation working and we need it to do its job.
Perfect.
So that's no issue. So no downtime.
That's amazing. Yeah, it's super, super cool to find something that's not going to take away from our training and show schedule, that we can kind of inject it and then keep on working.
Right. The things I want you to do as a follow-up is as we said, most of our riding stuff is going to be in the left pattern, but because that right front is his problem, we want to intermittently do a little bit more right work just to be a test of, are we seeing any of that stumble?
Right.
And about 6 weeks out, we'll reassess. The company is great in that if we have not gotten our expectations in 6 weeks, they will provide us with a complimentary sample to do it again. So we're not out the cost to do it again. They very much believe in their product. And then as far as real diagnostics, as long as he is functioning well and we're seeing that neurologic go away, there's really not a lot to do other than potentially a year out. If you really want to see how much remodeling he's done, you can get another neck x-ray.
Okay.
Because this is a bony nature that we see, but a neurologic issue that we're observing in his gait. Once the neurologic is resolved, we're good.
Yeah. That's what's so scary about it, is the inflammation putting the pressure on his spinal cord, of course, making him a little bit stumbly. That's the main thing. Obviously, arthritis is a problem as well, but you know, just getting him safe and stable is the most important thing.
I would not expect that you would not see some pretty significant changes in the next 6 weeks. Again, if we're seeing nothing, then we'll do another injection. But I'm not expecting them to be perfect, although I have had some pretty dramatic things happen inside of a week. My canine and my equine cases, so sometimes it's great. And again, he's young, so he's got lots of ability to heal left in him.
He's still such a baby, so I'm excited. We're hoping for a miracle here, and I feel like we're on the right track for sure.
All right, and I'm Dr. Trish Kallenbach.
And I'm Willow, and I'm super excited to see Santi's progress, so make sure you are following along to see all of his updates.